So when I say that I really don't have it together, fully having it together, is sometimes knowing who I am. Growing up, I never could know myself. So like now as an adult, I'm just finding myself. Like, who am I? What do I really like?
I want to be a little bit of every person that has nurtured me up until this point. I want to be resilient. I am resilient.
Who is Jasmine? That's a perfect question, right? I'm actually on this journey figuring out who is Jasmine. I just cut my hair off completely. I've never ever wore my hair out before in life. Like, I always wore wigs. I always hid who Jasmine was.
And I didn't have like a mother and father in the home, so it wasn't like I was trying to do everything myself, with trying to hold myself together with being 8, trying to go to school, but then had a cousin that when you got home from school, it wasn't, let me go outside and kick it with my friends for a little while. It was clean up, cook this.
The very first memory to me of meeting my mom was at her funeral.
Me and my mom didn't have a good relationship. Everybody say, oh, you remind me of your mom, but I'm like, how?
How was it growing up without a mother? It was dark.
Those women who where their fathers were not in their lives, or if their fathers were in their lives, it was something that was negative. And so girls or women grow up to have daddy issues.
My relationship with my dad is horrible. My dad's always been on drugs as long as I've known him. My dad hasn't even never in 38 years ever told me that he loved me.
Growing up without my dad, I actually was living in the house with my dad for years and did not know it, right? The lady that I was raised with, they just told me she was just a friend of the family and she was keeping me. But, you know, long down the line, I grew to understand that she was my grandmother and her son was my father.
So when I was 13, I started being molested, and it was by my grandma's husband. I tried to tell my grandma, but the only thing I was considered was a liar. I
have been molested by men at least 7 times. My grandmother's boyfriend, to my favorite uncle, to my swimming instructor. Like, I was getting taught how to swim.
So I didn't recognize that I was in an abusive relationship until I was already in an abusive relationship. He began to say things like, you are stupid. You're incapable without me of taking care of yourself. And then eventually he worked himself up to being physically abusive.
It is very important that you all be resilient. Remember, from a biblical standpoint, your test shall become your testimony.